ask questions?
To God be the glory, and thank you for coming. Whatever questions you have, our way.
Coach, would you just start by taking a look at Central? What have you seen of them? What you think of them?
We're just watching film yesterday and today. Really, their guards, they really are a big part of their offense, what they do. You know, you start with Trey Ziegler. Just a guy that's always in attack mode, you know, really good at attacking off the dribble and getting to the basket, you know. Very good in the open floor. Just a guy that, you know, you got to deal with. Good offensive rebounder. You know, and he can play all over the floor. And Jackson and I think McGroom. Jackson's shooting the ball really well, and he's another guy that can attack off the dribble. And freshman guard, I think McGroom, he's a guy that really been a good fit for them. Shoots it, can play off the bounce. So you start with them, and then you got a 5-man in Cobra that can, I think I'm pronouncing the name right, Coimbra, who can stretch the defense and is active. But it starts with their guards, and you know, they are very productive and aggressive trio led by Trey Ziegler.
Coach, can you talk about the grind that this conference is all about right now? It seems like you can't pick who's going to win on any single night. Just talk about the grind.
You know, grind is a good term because it is a grind. I mean, it's a marathon, you know, and it is a league and a game of toughness, hustle plays, you know, just will. You know, and then making plays down the stretch because you had so many close games. But you know, you have to bring a hard hat mentality, and you have to play for 40 or more. You got to keep playing within the game, and then from game to game, every game is a big game because, like you said, on any given day, anything can happen. So you can't take a play for granted. You can't take a loose ball for granted. You can't take a rebound, not blocking out for granted. You know, you just have to play, and then from game to game, you can't take a game for granted. So, you know, you got to come physically ready to, you know, to grind. You know, and, every game. So, you know, it's really been that way. I think maybe more so this year, maybe because of the parity. But you know, we know what to expect every game. It's just about going out there and doing it.
Coach, how hard is it as a coach realizing you're playing to win the game? The guys are going good, but you look and you say, Chauncey and Javon and Craig Seeley and Anthony, I need to get these guys some minutes because there's going to be a point in the season where I'm going to need them. Yeah. How hard is that as a coach for you to try to balance things out?
It's you know, I was thinking about that Jackson yesterday, last night. You know, when you have which we have a lot of experience in our seniors and our juniors. So and we got, basically they've been the guys that have carried the mantle this year, upperclassmen. And the margin for error sometimes seems to be so small in these games. And to really, you know, I guess sometimes it's just a matter of being able to leave young guys out there long enough to allow, you know, for them to be able to get experience and confidence, but also for me to gain their, you know, trust. And it's a balance in that, because you feel like every possession, and you got veteran guys who you know that's been through the wars, that kind of understand it, but you got talented young guys on the bench. I'm a firm believer in this. When you're young, you have to value practice. You know, you have to value it, and you have to improve and prepare yourself in practice, because your minutes, you know, they can be hard to come by, but they can be valuable. And I think our young guys hopefully are learning and understanding this. I'll give you a prime example of a guy that makes the most of the minutes he gets is James Irvin. But he's a veteran, he's a junior. But I'm a firm believer, and our guys, the practices, you know, I'm a guy that believes, you know, a lot of good things can happen in practice with your team, and you know, we have to still, even though this late in the year, our young guys have to prepare themselves in practice, and then when the opportunity comes, whether it's 3 or 4 minutes here, or you got to be ready. And the grind, you talked about the grind. I think that's one of the biggest adjustments for young players is the grind, the length of the season, the grind of practices. So you know, it is a balance in that, and we do have some talented young guys. So you know, that part of it is a work in progress, but you know, that's something that we got to try to kind of balance it out. So, but without putting ourselves in a position where they're not, the young guys got to be in a position to have success. You can't put them out there and just say sink or swim in the wrong combinations, the wrong timing. You know, so it's a lot to it. It's not just a matter of just, okay, plugging a guy in and saying, okay, go in the game. You know, it's a lot more to rotating guys, especially when the games are so close.
Coach, when you mentioned James valuing the minutes, are you saying in practice or in games?
I mean,
or both?
in games, just the preparation and getting the most out of your minutes in games. He's a guy that's been able to do that, and I think it's because of his experience and also his poise. You know, for me, you go through a walkthrough, say a game day or a game before a walkthrough, and a lot of times, if you're playing 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, the spectacular is not necessarily what we need from you. It's a spectacular. You just need to be solid, know your rotations, and basically take care of the basketball. And you get opportunity to make a play, you know, you make it. But you got to know your job. And for me, I look at that. You know, I look at, do I think you know how we're going to play a certain ball screen or the rotations? And I got to trust as a young player that you understand it. And I think that's a process. And you take our 2 veteran guys, you take D. Brown and Scott Thomas, 2 guys that have been here 4 years. Their freshman year, you know, their minutes were spotty, you know, and they learned to make the most of the time out there and to learn to be solid from the upper class. And I think our young guys are learning, but it's a process, and I don't know if they always understand the value of the little things, knowing their job, you know. They run out of bounds play, knowing what area you're supposed to cover. And if you don't cover it and they hit a shot, then you're like, you know, you just got to value every possession. And I think they're growing in that area, but I know it's tough. So I'm not here to say, I always want a guy that wants to play, Don't ever not want to play. Don't ever say, you always get in. If you don't get in, you got to want to play. But understand that it's a process, and just in these games, we've been leaning on the veteran guys and been nipping tough. So it's just tough. So, that's something that's a constant work in progress.
Coach, you touched on Central's guards at the start. When you look at a guy particularly like Zeebra, what are some of the challenges defensively of having to defend a guard who also has good size?
You know what? He's an attack guy, and the thing with him is when he attacks you in straight lines. He doesn't. I use the word. He doesn't mess around. Like he's not a guy that's going to play in curves. He's attacking in straight lines. So he gonna get to his spot as quick as he can get, whether it's to the rim, whether it's a 10-foot pull-up or whatever. He's attacking you. He's attacking shoulders. He's getting to his spot. And with his size, you gotta stay between him and the basket, and he's got good size. And then he's a very good offensive rebounder. And he can be a physical player. And then another thing is in the open court. He's good at attacking in the open court. So you almost have to play him with two guys. You always got to be loaded to the ball and understand that he's looking to attack. So we have to really try to limit his opportunities to attack. And Jackson is shooting the ball really well, and so is McGroom. So is he. So every team has their strengths, and it's up to you. You got to deal with it, and you got to guard. And we got to play good defense, and it starts with their guards.
I'm good.
Can you just talk a little bit, Coach, about injuries at this point? Cam played significant minutes against UB, so is he?
No, you know what? He's fine. This time of year, you're gonna have bumps and bruises. Thank God, other than Luke's, foot, we got, thank God, we're in good shape, And again, you talk about the grind, man. The marathon, conference play is a marathon, and the ones that can grind it out and bring it every day, practice games, and be consistent with their effort, their toughness, and their, the way they play the game, they're gonna have an advantage because it's not gonna always be pretty, but you gotta come ready to play every day, compete at a high level, and then, you gotta make plays down the stretch. So, a play or two could make a difference in our games up to this point, our record up to this point. That's just how it is, and that's MAC basketball at its best. So, you gotta embrace it. You gotta love it. You gotta embrace it.
And I'm not really the bumps and bruises. I know that comes with the territory. I'm more after Cam basically didn't play against Ken and saw the minutes he saw last week. He's back to full strength.
Yeah, you know what? I think the grind and the pace. Sometimes when you got guys that are big body guys, you gotta make sure that they. And he's a professional about his body. He takes care of himself. His treatment. He's always in to see Chad Young, and he takes care of himself. It's just a matter of the pounding and the wear and tear. Sometimes on big guys, you just have to be conscious of it, practice and everything. How much running and everything they do, and keep them in condition, and maybe the pounding. And with big guys, I think that's more of an issue than it is with guards at times because of their size. But he's fine.
And with Luke, obviously he's missed 4 games. Can you update us on when he'll come back?
Whenever it's a process. I guess you got to keep your weight off the foot right now, let the bone heal, and once the bone heals, you gotta get strength back in your leg, I guess, and then you gotta start planning it. So I think he's still in the initial phase. His foot, his bone has to heal, so he can't put weight on it. So he's still in the beginning process of the healing. So we'll have to wait and see.
Good?